Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm not even on camera. Today we're making kimchi, and we're also trying to figure out our camera and lighting here because we have no clue how this is gonna work. Okay, so if you never heard of kimchi, it's kind of like the Korean sauerkraut, and it's actually just fermented veggies, like wrapped in this spicy paste and then just fermented for days, weeks, months, depending on where you want to get to it. But you can also eat it like right away. And just like every other fermented food, it has its health benefits. But kimchi actually has its own research facility. Kimchi research facility in Japan. I mean, if there's an institute studying this food, there must be something to it. But above all else, it is my favorite fermented food. So today, I'm gonna show you how I make it. And I do mean like how I make it because I follow rules as much as the next person, as long as it makes sense. Other than that, let's bend them to serve us best. The main ingredient is cabbage. Naba cabbage, to be more exact. Anyway, you're gonna wanna start with the cabbage because you're gonna wanna prepare it and then wait for it to soften. And while you do that, instead of just waiting, you can move on to doing the paste. So let's start with the cabbage. All right. So typically you would put a bunch of salt in between the layers of the cabbage and then just let it rest and let the salt like suck out all the water. But again, we're doing it my way. We just go in like that. And some people will say to cut out the core and you toss that, but I don't, except for this part that looks not so good. That I don't want in there. So here's another ingredient that I forgot to mention, sea salt, or just good salt. What you're gonna do once you have your cabbage all here is just salt it. Salt it like you've never salted cabbage before. The salt is what's going to extract the water. Make sure it's in every layer. And give another saltiness. And one more. And let it be for at least 30 minutes or so. Get the radish, the scallions, the onion, and the carrot to be part of the mixture. But for the paste, we're gonna use everything else. Pear, garlic, ginger, chili powder. Now you can chop off a little bit and then just add like, I don't know, I'm gonna do 1/3 cup of chili powder and a 1/4 cup of fish sauce. Now, if you're not sure if your paste is right, just taste it. This is not right. This needs more sweetness. So I'm going to add more pear. I already had 1 pear, but it was kind of dry. So maybe another pear is gonna be better. Okay, let's have a pause here just to explain a little thing. If you're feeling like this recipe is a little missing something, it's because it's not as linear as you're used to seeing other recipes, because we are using intuitive cooking here, which is a skill that you develop. And this is exactly what we use inside the Intuitive Cooking Club. If you're interested in knowing the recipe and more details about the Intuitive Cooking Club, I invite you to click on the link on the description, and I'll see you on that side. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, so I added half a pear, and yeah, we got that sweetness there. All right, let's check on the cabbage and the puppy. So when you check on your cabbage, the idea is that the hard parts will bend and they won't break like this. Now, if you have some that are, I don't know, bend and do break, I don't think it's really a big deal. So I'm just gonna proceed with the next step. Now, some people will say to rinse this because they salt it quite heavily. However, I don't really salt it that heavy. I mean, I'm gonna eat it like that, but I don't know. No, it really depends. Like, if you can still eat it, then you don't need to rinse it, but it's too salty. I'm gonna rinse it, and then and then it'll be good to mix everything. All right, I'll rinse just lightly because you want it to be salty, just not edible salty. You're gonna get your other veggies, put them in this big bowl, and then you'll get your paste that you so lovingly made. And some people will say to wear some gloves here because they go in there with their hands. They really get deep, and I don't know. I just do it with a spatula. Okay, here comes the fun part where we put all of this into, well, I'll fill like half a gallon jar and then some of this. Let's do this. Now you're gonna wanna leave some space there. And I'm not even sure if this is enough, but you want it very packed and with some space, because as it ferments, it's going to let go of some liquid, and that can, with the gas that the fermentation produces, can overflow. So you want to keep everything underwater with a weight. So put a weight in there, put a weight on it, boom. And then cover it with a fermentation type lid. This is what I got. As I said, it will release some gas, so you want something that lets the gas out, but does not let any air in. So, these are the lids that I use. And just so you don't get lost, mark the date on them. I just use a Sharpie on the glass, and what day is today? And then leave them in a place where they can be around 75 Fahrenheit, and check them in 7 days. So my furnace room is the one that doubles as a fermentation station. I don't know if it's gonna work. It does, it will work. So here is where I have all my furnace. Yes, this is the furnace. We'll check on them in 7 days. All right, so it's been 7 days since I started this batch, and you'll notice that when I put the weight on, the liquid wasn't there, and now we have all this liquid. Now the taste test comes. You're gonna check the texture, the taste, and basically it's whatever you like it to be. The more you leave it there, the more sour it's gonna get. And here we go. We got some, boy, that is a bit softer than I thought it would. There's sourness, there's sweetness, there's just a little spice there without being too overwhelming. It's so good. It's so good.